The kingdom of Valdris was rotting from the inside out, the blight spreading from the royal crypts, and the council's decree was absolute. Execute the Witch Queen.
Execute Elara, the Witch Queen, by order of the council. For crimes against the crown, crimes she didn't commit. I've read the trial. The evidence was fabricated. The council needed a scapegoat.
Kieran pocketed the master keys and slipped into the dark corridor, his heart pounding with the weight of an irreversible choice.
10 years of watching her rot in chains, knowing it was a lie. 10 years of waiting for this moment.
The path to the iron sanctum was lit by torches guttering in the damp air. His footsteps echoed on ancient stone.
If I free her, I'm a traitor. If I don't, I'm a coward. There's no third path.
But letting the kingdom's only hope burn to death was a heavier weight than any traitor's brand. The blight's green glow seeped through the cracks in the walls, a constant reminder that the kingdom was dying, and he wouldn't let it.
Hold on, Elara. I am coming. Please, let me not be too late.
Kieran reached the iron sanctum's core, where the Witch Queen lay suspended in chains, her silver hair veiling her face, motionless as the dead. He inserted the master key. The rune-sealed lock screamed as ancient wards shattered, and the chains fell away in a bloom of light. Elara's eyes snapped open, violet irises burning with the fury of 300 years of imprisonment.
You, a petty guard, dares disturb my slumber. Speak before I turn you to ash.
I've read the hidden archives. Your trial was a lie, forged by the council. They ordered your execution. I had to act.
A lie? My coven burned, and the kingdom cheered. Let it rot. The blight is justice. I'll start with the palace.
Before he could respond, she dissolved into writhing shadow and sank through the floor, fleeing into the catacombs. A pulse of raw magic erupted from the cell, and outside the sanctum, every guard crumpled unconscious.
She's through the old tunnels. If she reaches the surface, it's over.
He found a hidden passage, yawning open, cold energy trailing downward. Without hesitation, he plunged after her. Kieran descended into the catacombs, following the faint violet rune traces Elara left in her wake, a trail only a guard trained in magical surveillance could spot.
She's fast, but her magic is bleeding from centuries of inactivity. Each pulse is a breadcrumb.
The walls glistened with unnatural, sickly veins. The blight, not just rot, but something alive, feeding on the stone itself.
This isn't decay. It's a weapon, aimed at the kingdom's heart. And the council, they'd rather kill the cure than admit it.
Echoes of armored boots and shouts bounced off the ancient stone, a patrol sweeping for the escaped prisoner.
They'll search the main tunnels. If I cut through the old ossuary, I can slip past and pick up her trail again.
He ducked into a side passage as torchlight flickered past, the guards' voices fading into the dark.
Too close. But the runes are brighter now. She's slowing down. Maybe something stopped her.
The tunnels opened into a forgotten chamber, its walls covered in a crumbling mural of a burning coven. And there, bathed in violet light, stood Elara, transfixed.
She's paused. Now, before she moves again, I have to make her listen. One chance. Elara, wait. Look at this. Stolen from the High Court's vault. The real trial transcript. The council marked your coven as weapons in waiting, decades before the fire. They planned it all, the massacre, the blight, to seize your magic.
Old ink, old lies. The kingdom still cheered when we screamed. Justice is the blight devouring them.
A silver sigil flared in the darkness, and a woman clad in black leather stepped into the chamber, a dozen fanatical soldiers behind her.
Witch Queen Elara, by the authority of the Ashen Dawn, you will be returned to the Iron Sanctum, or you will be ash.
I've been ash before. It didn't take.
She thrust out a hand, and blinding violet light erupted, searing the Order's vision. Kieran seized her arm and yanked her through a crumbling archway.
This way. I know the patrol routes. If we work together, we can lose them.
For now, guard. But my vengeance is only delayed, not abandoned.
Behind them, Lyra's furious shout echoed, "Find them, They cannot reach the surface. The hunt had only just begun. They wove through forgotten passages until the shouts faded. Kieran slowed, breath ragged, and his voice turned raw.
You want to know why a guard would throw his life away? My mother was a hedge witch. They burned her when I was 12. I joined the guards to find proof. I've spent 10 years stealing every scrap of truth from the council's vaults.
Pretty words, but the dead don't need guilt. They need blood.
Blood won't undo the lies, but that door leads to an archive the council thought was sealed forever. The real records are inside.
The room was thick with dust and the smell of old parchment. Kieran lit a pale luminescence and pulled a scroll from a hidden compartment.
Read it. The council didn't just execute your coven. They desecrated their remains, binding their essence into the blight as a weapon against the kingdom itself.
Her hands shook as she traced the ancient runes, sigils of containment, extraction, and eternal servitude. Her sister's magic, still screaming.
My coven, not just murdered, enslaved. Their very souls twisted into this poison. The council will not die quickly enough.
We have the truth. Now, we make sure the kingdom hears it. The great library can broadcast to the whole city. Help me expose them, not just for vengeance, but for justice.
Justice. The council deserves fire, not speeches.
If the blight consumes the city, there will be no one left to hear the truth.
Elara's magic flared, then stilled. The rage in her eyes tempered into something colder. Purpose.
We reached the great library through the old aqueducts. I know the way. We broadcast everything.
Fine. But when the city knows, I face the council myself. No chains, no mercy. Swear it.
I swear. We'll see this through together.
They gathered the scrolls and slipped back into the tunnels, the distant clang of the Order's search parties driving them forward.
Patience is a bitter draught, but I've drunk it for centuries. A few more hours won't kill me.
The aqueducts are treacherous, but it's the only path left. Stay sharp.
They climbed toward the surface, the weight of the truth heavy in their hands, and the ashen dawn still hunting. They emerged from the aqueduct onto an ancient bridge, and the city below them was dying. Buildings crumbled, people stumbling, a green rot crawling over everything.
This is my vengeance made manifest. But those faces, they aren't the nobles who laughed. They're just ordinary.
Witch, your flight ends here.
Lyra and her soldiers surged onto the bridge. Elara thrust a barrier of violet flame, but it guttered, her strength still sapped by centuries of chains.
You can't hold them. Follow me. The sewer grate, now.
He wrenched a rusted grate open and half-dragged Elara into the darkness below as crossbow bolts shattered the stone behind them. They splashed into ankle-deep filth, the stench of rot mingling with the blight's sweet decay. The Order's shouts faded above.
Too close. She's exhausted. I need to find them shelter before they regroup.
I shouldn't be this weak. That spell should have incinerated them.
Rest first. The library isn't far. We'll be ready.
They slogged through the sewer until the sound of weeping led them to a camp of refugees. Huddled beneath a crumbling arch, a woman cradling a child cried out, "Please, we have nothing. Don't hurt us."
We're not here to harm anyone. We need to stop the blight. Is everyone affected?
The child in her arms was pale, green veins pulsing at his throat. The blight's poison.
This isn't the council. This is a child dying for their sins.
Elara knelt, pressing her palm to the boy's chest. A soft glow spread, and the veins faded.
I didn't plan to heal him. What's happening to my fury?
The refugees, stunned, spoke of the council's martial law and the witch blamed for the blight.
They're twisting the truth. We have to broadcast the evidence before the city turns on you completely.
Then let's not waste time. But when this is over, the council answers to me.
At the library's hidden entrance, an old historian with trembling hands unlocked the gate, whispering, "Kieran, you are mad. But the truth must be heard."
Thank you, old friend. We need the broadcast console. Are the wards still active?
Before the historian could answer, A crossbow bolt hit him in the chest, and Lyra's voice rang out. So predictable. Guard. Ilara's magic erupted, pinning Lyra to the wall, her hand tightening around her throat.
You will die for my sisters.
Ilara, stop. This isn't justice.
She hesitated, and Lyra, gasping, activated a teleportation rune, vanishing in silver light.
I was going to kill her without a trial. What have I become?
You are not a monster. You are the one who will end this. Let's finish what we came for.
They left the historian's body and pushed deeper into the library, the weight of grief and near failure heavy on their shoulders. They found a hidden passage beneath the library's deepest archives, leading to a vault pulsating with sickly green light. Inside, suspended in chains of dark energy, a crystal the size of a man glowed with the essence of stolen lives.
I feel them. My sister's magic, trapped, feeding this abomination.
The blight was not decay. It was a siphon, draining the kingdom's life to keep nobles immortal.
This is the source. Destroy it now, and the council dies. But the truth dies too. No one will know.
Then we expose them first. I won't let their death be silent. The world must see what they did.
But the blight was accelerating. Every moment they delayed, more innocents suffered.
Patience again, but this time for justice, not vengeance.
We'll broadcast from the console upstairs. Then we come back and shatter this thing together.
They raced toward the broadcast chamber, the fate of the kingdom hanging on their next move. They burst into the grand hall, Kieran immediately throwing the dust covers off an ancient broadcast console. "This will work," he muttered.
I inserted the memory crystal. Their secret debate will play across the city. Get ready.
So close. After centuries, the truth finally rips through.
The crystal flared, and ghostly voices filled the chamber, the council's cold words. The blight can be controlled. Let the city's life fuel our immortality. Before the echo died, the doors smashed open, and Lyra and her order poured in, weapons drawn.
End the broadcast. Kill the witch.
Ilara swept her hand, and a shield of violet energy erupted between Kieran and the incoming blades.
Work the console. I'll hold them back.
Kieran slammed the activation rune, and the broadcast signal flared to life, the council's own voices damning them to the entire city.
It's live. Now the whole kingdom hears the truth. We just have to survive.
The council's damning words echoed across the city, and in the grand hall, the order's advance faltered. Soldiers glanced at each other, doubt creeping in.
Don't listen to its lies. It's witch trickery. Attack.
A young soldier stepped in front of Lyra, lowering his blade. "No, Commander. Those are the council's own voices." Lyra lunged at the memory crystal, but Ilara's magic held her fast, and two of her own soldiers stepped in to restrain her.
Why, Lyra? You knew the truth. Why serve those who feed on the innocent?
I thought I could keep the kingdom stable. That order could spare more suffering. I was a fool.
Ilara's hand, still raised, slowly lowered. The fire in her eyes banked into cold resolve.
Then you will face justice in the new world we build, not death, imprisonment until you truly understand what you defended.
The broadcast has done its work. Now, we need to destroy the crystal. Can you lead us to the crypts?
Outside, the city roared with fury as the truth spread. And in the library, Kieran and Ilara left the order to guard their former commander. Turning toward the heart of the blight, they sprinted through the crumbling palace corridors, the blight's green veins crawling up the walls. The council's guards had abandoned their posts. Chaos reigned.
The crystal is near. My sister's torment ends today, one way or another.
Lyra, now bound and guarded, caught up with them, her voice urgent. The crystal has a barrier. Only a life force of equal magnitude can pierce it.
It was designed to kill any witch who tried. You'll need to pour your entire essence into breaking it.
Then it's the perfect penance. What is one more witch's life for the thousands they've stolen?
Number. We share the cost. I've studied the guard runes. I can channel my own life force into the spell.
Foolish guard. This isn't your burden.
I didn't free you to watch you die. We do this together, or we don't do it at all.
They stood before the crypt entrance, the blight pulsing like a heartbeat. Alara took Kieran's hand, and they stepped into the darkness together. From within, a monstrous roar shook the stones. The blight had a guardian. But they did not stop. The crypt opened into a vast chamber where the blight had formed a monstrous guardian, a roiling mass of black tendrils and green eyes.
Keep it busy. I need to reach the crystal.
Kieran dodged a lashing tendril, slashing with his blade at its base, drawing the creature's attention.
Just like training drills, stay light. Don't let it corner you.
Now, while it's distracted.
She reached the crystal and began the ancient incantation, drawing her life force into a brilliant blade of violet light.
Wait, use this. The guard binding runes can share the cost.
He grabbed her hand, and runes flared along his arm, connecting to her magic. The spell twisted, merging their life forces.
The pain is immense, but it's working. The barrier is breaking.
A blinding fusion of violet and gold exploded from them, striking the crystal. Cracks raced across its surface, and the blight screamed. The crystal detonated in a silent burst of light, and the blight's sickly green withered across the land like a dream fleeing dawn. In castle halls and hidden chambers, the council members screamed as their stolen centuries caught up with them, crumbling to dust. Kieran crumpled, his life force spent. Alara caught him before he hit the stone, lowering him gently.
Kieran, open your eyes. You promised we'd see this through together.
She pressed her hands to his chest, a faint violet glow transferring what little strength she had left.
He gave everything for a kingdom that never gave him anything. He can't leave me now.
A ragged cough. Kieran's eyes fluttered open, unfocused but alive.
The crystal, is it?
Gone. The blight is gone. You stubborn, wonderful fool.
Above them, the crypt ceiling cracked open, and a shaft of pure sunlight poured down, chasing away the last shadows. Alara carried Kieran from the ruined crypt, and the gathered crowd parted in stunned silence.
They'll stone me now. After everything, I am still the monster they feared.
But a woman knelt. Then a man. Soon hundreds bowed, their cheers shaking the stones. The ashen dawn threw down their weapons, kneeling in surrender, their crusade shattered by truth.
Why bow? I nearly let this kingdom burn with your families inside.
A voice cried, "You freed us. The witch we feared was the council's lie. You are our savior." An interim council was formed, and they offered Alara a seat to speak for magic bearers.
A seat of power? Is this forgiveness or another cage?
Take it, not for them, for the ones like my mother, for the future.
Then I accept. Not out of mercy, but for a justice that never dies.
A few days later, in a sunlit room, Kieran stirred from sleep as Alara slipped through the door, her regal robes replaced by a simple dress.
You look less like a corpse today? How do you feel?
Like I wrestled a blight monster and lost, but seeing you not chained up, worth it.
I almost let this world burn. Kieran, the hatred was so deep. You saved me from becoming the monster they claimed I was.
I almost died for a fool's hope that a kingdom built on lies could ever change, but you proved it can.
She reached out, her hand covering his. For a moment, the weight of centuries seemed a little lighter.
The council needs honest souls, not just magic. Stay with me as my personal guard. Help me build a world where no child loses their mother for being different.
You are offering me a job? I thought I was a traitor.
A traitor to a corrupt order is a hero to a just one. Will you serve?
He nodded, and together they turned to the window, where the first green shoots were breaking through the blighted soil. In the new council chamber, Alara sat among magic bearers, survivors of the purge, and Kieran stood guard.
Our first law will ensure no one is forgotten. A monument for every witch murdered by the council.
The scribe's quill dipped, and the decree was sealed. Next, the Iron Edict. Magic no longer a crime, but a protected heritage.
This is what justice feels like. Heavy, but clean.
She's building a world my mother would have been safe in.
The quill scratched parchment, and the kingdom's laws shifted. Stone by stone, Elara took her seat, regal and calm, as the council rose for the closing.
We've ended the blight of the land. Now we end the blight of hate.
The Witch Queen, who once wished to burn it all, had become its protector, and the first blossoms of spring unfurled outside the windows across the kingdom. Stone by stone, a monument rose, a white marble pillar etched with the names of every witch lost to the purge. Workers paused to trace the inscriptions, and children left wildflowers at its base, a carpet of color against the pale stone. In a sun-drenched courtyard, a young girl whispered an old lullaby spell, and a tiny star spun in her cupped hands.
3 centuries ago, that child would have been dragged to the pyre before she could speak her first word.
Elara watched from the shadow of a pillar, her lips parting in something almost like a smile.
This is what we fought for. Not vengeance. Room for magic to be innocent again.
The girl's mother, who had initially flinched, now knelt beside her, guiding her fingers through the spell. The monument gleamed in the evening light, its new stones already feeling timeless, as if they had waited centuries for this moment. The kingdom would never forget the fire, but it could learn to forgive the ashes.
And so can I.
Kieran and Elara walked a quiet palace corridor, his guard uniform crisp, her robes a simple counselor gray. The ease between them had grown deep roots.
Do you ever miss it? The hunger for vengeance, the way it lit every shadow with purpose.
Sometimes, in the deep night, the old wounds ache and the fire whispers.
She stopped, fingers brushing the cool windowsill, her reflection a ghost trapped in the glass.
But justice feels heavier and better. The old flames still flicker, but they don't consume.
Heavier, but it doesn't crush you. It builds something.
Their eyes met, a silent acknowledgement that the past was no longer a cage. They walked on, the morning sun threading silver through her hair. Outside, the monument's long shadow stretched toward the city, a silent promise of remembrance. Kieran kept pace beside her, no longer a traitor, but a steadfast guardian of a new dawn's fragile light. In the high council chamber, Elara rose and walked to her seat, the robes of a counselor settling on her shoulders like armor. Behind her, Kieran stood at attention, his guard's spear, a quiet symbol of the loyalty she had earned. His eyes held a fierce pride, the pride of a man who had believed when no one else would. She took her place among the chairs, not as a prisoner, but as a voice for the voiceless. The Witch Queen, who once wished to burn it all, had become its protector. The council rose, and the light from the high windows caught the silver in her hair. She did not smile, but her gaze was steady, unbroken by the centuries of pain. And in that moment, the kingdom's true healing began. Not with edicts, but with trust. From the ashes of vengeance, she had risen to a guardian of hope, and beside her, the former guard who had dared to see a woman instead of a monster. Evening fell over the healed kingdom, and on a balcony overlooking the quiet city, Kieran and Elara stood together, watching the sun dip below the horizon.
Thank you for seeing me when I was invisible.
You were never invisible, just chained.
A gentle breeze stirred, and they turned to each other, the weight of the past finally lifting. Their hands met, a simple gesture that spoke of trust and a future no longer feared. In the garden below, the blight's twisted symbol, etched into an old stone, began to glow with a soft light. The dark lines softened, twisting into a new shape, a flower, blooming from the ruins of decay. Where once there was poison, now there was life, a white blossom with petals that held the faintest violet at their edges. The flower, a testament to transformation, stood as the kingdom's promise that even the deepest wounds could heal. And in that quiet evening, the Witch Queen and the prison guard stood side by side, no longer bound by chains, but rooted in hope.